Well, next week, we're going to Egypt. But before we do, as we continue our story of this young man named Joseph and his father who loved him above and beyond his other sons, and the plot and the eventual selling him into slavery, all of those things that took place. But the thing that we want to deal with before we go on to Egypt is the reality that life goes on. And this always does intrigue me, because there'll be some big thing perhaps in my life that I'm just really looking forward to with great anticipation. And finally it comes, it happens, and then there's the next day, and you move on. Well, for these brothers who had committed this terrible travesty, there was the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Life moved on. And I just have a feeling that every day this burden got a little harder to carry. Every day they have to look at their own selves and realize what they had done. And then to think about your fellow accomplices who were involved in the plot with you. And I often wonder if there might have been a time when they were way out in the fields somewhere, all by themselves, just one or two, and they were just talking about what they'd done. And just staring the future in the face, knowing that forever, as they saw it in their mind at that time, forever, we will live this lie. Well, I know that there are some people who have done these things, these type of things, and they've become conditioned to it because their hearts have become calloused, and they've found a way to either stuff it down in the very heart of their being, and in some way to go on. I remember seeing a documentary one time on the television, and it was about a murder that had taken place in California 40 years ago. And new evidence arose. And one day the authorities knocked on the door of the man who had committed this murder. And he said, "I've been expecting you." In other words, all of those years, it seemed he got away with it. But it was never far from his heart. But you see, that's the way the heart is. You see, you may think that it's all shoved under the rug and nobody ever knows. But in your heart, you know. And forever, you'll deal with it. Just like these brothers. Until that day when they did exactly what Joseph had prophesied. And they bowed to their brothers in Egypt. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast